You guys have been...
Just a breath of fresh air. Oh, well, that is very sweet of you to say.
Greetings and salutations, guys. Eric here with my review of Speak No Evil. That's right. They're not just going to show the trailer forever and ever. They actually are releasing a full-length feature film this weekend. I don't know what it is with how trailers are booked and what happens where sometimes it seems like a certain trailer just shows over and over and over with every movie. It happened earlier this year with Argyle. It happened to me a lot with the first Fall Guy trailer. And Quiet Place Day One, a movie I ended up loving, by the way, so it has no bearing on what the movie is. But some of these trailers, it just feels like, man, they need to back off a little bit. And Speak No Evil, it's had 2 different trailers, but I don't know about you, but I've seen it with everything. First I saw the first trailer, then they finally put out a new one, and I kept seeing that. But there is a movie. They did it. And by the way, it's a pretty entertaining movie. After all is said and done, I enjoyed myself with this film. This is a remake of a 2022 Danish film of the same name. And first and foremost, I haven't seen that movie. So no comparisons for me. I can't say, oh my god, they totally ruined a classic, or oh my god, this is better than the original, because I don't have that movie in my mind to connect it to. But here we have Mackenzie Davis has Louise, and Scoot McNairy has Ben, her husband. They're traveling with their daughter on vacation, where they meet an extremely friendly couple played by James McAvoy and Aisling Franciosi and their child. And they really hit it off on this trip, and they are invited by this other couple to come stay with them, come to their beautiful countryside home, and they decide to take them up on the offer shortly after. And wouldn't you know it when they get there, but there's just something a little off about Patty, about James McAvoy's character. Something just isn't right there. He seems so boisterous, gregarious, friendly, out for a good time, but he has this dark side, and it's creeping up, and it's hidden, but it's there. Well, maybe not that hidden. And I think this is going to be the big split for people, no pun intended for James McAvoy, on this film, which is that it's so not hidden. The fact that there's something wrong with Patty is pretty obvious.
God, there's a doctor in the house. I'm not a doctor. What?
Wait, what, didn't you say you were a doctor?
Did I? In Italy, you...
I had a great time with that, and I do think it's a movie that's winking at you the whole time about this. It is playing a game with the audience of, okay, we know this is a movie about them going to stay with a guy who's actually a psycho, so let's see how far we can push that. But because so many times he has so many red flags, I think it'll be that divide between people who go, this is ridiculous, how can I possibly invest in this when this stupid couple keeps staying with this guy, and the people that are enjoying themselves like I was, just thinking, okay, this is funny how it's like pushing, how much can we show about the fact that you shouldn't trust this guy. It does help, though, that at least Mackenzie Davis's character, Louise, does have suspicions, or at least concerns, about some of the behavior she's seeing from both Patty and his wife, Kira, pretty early on, and is letting that be known. However, it's poor Scoot McNairy, great actor, but he has a bit of a thankless role here, has the guy who just keeps looking the other way, keeps coming up with excuses, keeps saying, oh, maybe he's just eccentric, maybe this is just European way, we don't know. Again, I did think that was pretty funny, but it does happen a lot. And so at a certain point, you're like, dude, what are you doing here? You should not be at this house. But at the center of this, you've got James McAvoy, and the movie lives or dies by his performance, and he is great. He's a great actor in general, but I feel like he really kind of comes alive when he gets to play these more villainous roles, which isn't that often, but you saw in Split how excellent he was in that movie, showing this completely different nefarious side, or in that film, a few different sides. And in this one, playing this guy, he's so tightly wound, and he so wants to project friendliness. And again, because I do think the movie is very much working with you as far as having this sense of humor and having the facade drop all the time. Sometimes in front of the other couple, but sometimes just to us. And I think McAvoy, he seems to be having a blast here, showing that facade, showing the facade drop, go back up, trying to kind of figure out what his angle is, what his deal is, because we know he's going to be a bad guy, but we don't know how bad, we don't know why he might want to do something bad. We don't have the full story for quite a while. And I love the different sort of protections he puts in front of himself as this character and how quickly they can go away. I think the cast by and large are all good. It's a small cast. And they all work well off each other. The two kid actors are really good. And I think that these two couples sort of bouncing off each other as we kind of get into how these relationships work and what might be in the past that Louise and Ben have some issues that they haven't dealt with. There's some relationship drama scenes that I think actually do work well here in the midst of this thriller as we find out what problems they're trying to deal with and why they thought this might be a great idea to come out to the countryside, only to quickly learn it was not. Writer-director James Watkins does good work here, building that tension, having that dark, playful feeling for much of the film. When it kind of all comes to its big conclusion, I mostly found it satisfying. There's a couple beats that I think do cross a line into pretty silly. Just a couple of visuals, a couple of ways that they convey some information. But most of it, I thought, this is a pretty exciting finale. This is definitely delivering, after all that buildup, what you want to see as far as some sort of physical confrontation breaking out. Again, I have not seen the original. I have heard there are differences between the way this ends and that ends, and I'm curious now to watch it. I know it's on Shudder. I think I'll check it out soon and see those differences. And to see if maybe that sense of humor that I thought was so prevalent in this version, maybe that's not part of it all. Maybe the other version is deadly serious, and maybe if you've seen the original, you're saying the last thing I want is to see a playful version of that story. I get it, but me seeing this cold, well, except for the trailer over and over, but me seeing it not knowing that original, I do think that this is definitely an enjoyable time. This feels like it'll be a really good audience movie. The audience I saw it with, we were definitely having a lot of fun with it. There was a very reactive quality to the movie because, again, I do think it understands that the audience is going to be kind of looking for these clues and that they push them hard to kind of have that fun with you. And I definitely think McAvoy, the way he plays it, is so sort of knowing without crossing line. Doesn't like break the fourth wall, but he is just having a great time, having a blast doing this, and I think it ends up making it such an enjoyable time watching him do it. Yeah, this is not, anything sort of special or groundbreaking, and ultimately it kind of feels like a throwback to all those 1990 thrillers like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle or Pacific Heights, about the psycho next door or the psycho under your roof, except in this case they go to the psycho's house. But it has a lot of qualities that evoke those kind of movies, but I think has that sort of throwback. It works really well, albeit one with some pretty dark elements included as well, that the movie doesn't really dwell on, and I guess some might criticize it for that, but I think that it's kind of there to talk about afterwards what's going on and some of the information that is conveyed along the way. So yeah, as far as like an enjoyable opening weekend packed audience experience, I think this definitely checks off a box, especially for this kind of mid-September release, the kind of movie you want. It's not quite a horror movie, but it certainly still feels like it belongs in Halloween season. Feels like it adds to sort of the creepy factor with these characters and with what's going on here. So those are my thoughts on Speak No Evil, based on the trailer of the same name, based on a Danish film of the same name. I'll be back with more. If you can like and subscribe, that'd be great. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.